I'd like us all to visualize together, so feel free to close your eyes. Okay, now think about your favorite park. It can be the small pocket park, only a couple blocks from your childhood home, or maybe a large community park, like Voyager, just across the bridge. What do you see as you picture this park? Is there a playground? The swing set where you and your friends would spend hours seeing who could get the highest, or the monkey bars that took you all of second grade to master? Is there a sports field or a tennis court where you attend weekly lessons or play pickup games on the weekends? Can you picture your favorite bench? The one where you like to sit and read or people watch? It's right along the river, surrounded by lots of green trees and other natural resources. How do you feel as you think about your favorite park? Calm, nostalgic, happy? I want you to hold on to that feeling and open up your eyes. It's probably no surprise that parks play a critical role in the fight against climate change, and that just being in proximity to green space improves both our physical and mental health. But parks are so much more than just green infrastructure. They're what happens within them and the opportunities they provide. Parks are adaptable social infrastructure that are essential for our individual and collective well-being. I'm going to pause for a second because this is usually the point in the conversation where somebody asks me if I'm like a certain Parks and Rec character. Yes, I am exactly like Leslie Knope. I love waffles and friends and am big enough to admit I'm often inspired by myself. In all seriousness, just like Leslie Knope, I also got my start in local government. For me, it was the summer before my senior year when I interned for the Village of Bellevue Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department. I quickly fell in love with everything parks had to offer and never wanted to leave. In fact, my 3-month internship lasted 14 months and ended the day I moved to Philadelphia to attend graduate school at the University of Pennsylvania's School of Policy and Practice. There, I earned my master's in social policy by studying park, open space, and community development policy to improve outdoor access for all. For the last 9 months, I've been working at Trust for Public Land in Newark, New Jersey, doing just that. TPL is a national nonprofit that connects everyone to the outdoors through parks, community schoolyards, trails, and preserved land. I get to spend every day thinking about, visiting, supporting, and improving local parks. Every day, I'm reminded of all the greatness and potential that lie within outdoor spaces. I could go on and on forever about all the ways that parks make our lives better, but instead, I'd like us all to visualize a walk through the park. Let's start at the playground. It's really easy to think of this equipment in terms of what's there. A small climbing wall to go up, a slide to go down, a bridge, a platform or two. Maybe you see the playground as the best place to send the kids to run around, release some energy, and tire themselves out. That is definitely an important function of playscapes, but did you know that playgrounds are also social classrooms? According to multiple studies published by the American Academy of Pediatricians and the National Association for the Education of Young Children, the act of playing helps children develop motor skills, engage all their senses to learn spatial awareness, and experiment with different social roles. More than just that, playing helps children develop confidence, emotional intelligence, and the mastery of physical movements. Just by playing, children are learning about themselves and the world around them. As we head to the open field, I'll share the best part about all of this. The benefits of play don't stop with children. Dr. Stuart Brown, neuroscience researcher and founder of the National Institute for Play, says that play is essential for brain development, no matter our age. Neuroscientists discovered that the circuits in our brain that respond to play triggers are the same circuits that respond to hunger triggers and are located in the deep survival center of our brain. That means that when our brains are in a state of play, no matter our age, they're experiencing a physiological necessity. How cool is that? When we enter a state of play, we're strengthening our ability to create, strategize, and design. It improves our critical thinking, and it leads to being able to handle stressful situations with greater ease. When we think about it, adults tend to play in a lot of the same way as kids. Participating in sports leagues, practicing yoga, or even going for a bike ride through the park all help our brains enter a state of play. Dr. Brown also believes that it is in this state of mind that the basis of human trust is established. That's because when our brains are in a state of play, we are more receptive to getting out of our comfort zones and letting down our guards to connect with others. In doing so, we are building second-ring relationships, also known as weak ties. In his book, Vanishing Neighbors, author Mark Dunkelman defines second-ring relationships as loose connections with those in similar social circles, such as our coworkers or those in a fitness class. They're not necessarily friends or strangers, they're our neighbors. Despite their name, weak ties are historically important for the growth and resiliency of communities. In fact, most community-level change depends on neighbors conversing and collaborating on solutions to problems that extend beyond just their friend or family groups. Studies show that neighborhoods with more weak ties cutting across various social divides reap more benefits than those lacking these types of relationships. Some of these benefits include greater endurance and recovery from natural disasters, higher rates of civic participation, and an overall greater sense of community identity. Parks are the perfect landscape for building these types of relationships because they're designed to bring us together in organic ways through the hosting of community events and programming, as well as through the variety of amenities they offer. Let's head over to the gazebo to see what I mean. At the gazebo, we run into Betty, a fellow park goer who we've crossed paths with several times the last few months. Our past conversations have mainly consisted of small talk, but today our brains are in a state of play, so we decide to have deeper conversation. Betty tells us about being a member of the park's Friends group. The group has recently partnered with a nearby high school to work with at-risk students frequently in detention. Rather than having the students serve detention at the school, they gather at the park, where a local counselor leads them through journaling and meditation exercises. This allows time for the students to reflect on their actions and reground themselves in their natural environment. Evidence supports that this will have significant long-term outcomes for the students' behavior and overall sense of well-being. Studies completed in inner-city Chicago and replicated in residential Barcelona, as well as in longitudinal and large-scale cross-sectional studies nationally, show that being connected to and being surrounded by nature leads to greater impulse control, relieves stress, and has rejuvenating effects on attention. Doesn't all of this sound great? I love parks. I love parks. For some of us, this walk through the park has probably been easy to imagine because we've experienced what I described. For others, it may be more difficult to envision. According to data from Trust for Public Land, over 100,000 Americans lack access to a park or green space within 10 minutes of where they live. This number grows exponentially when we look at those lacking access to well-maintained outdoor spaces. Part of our celebration of parks must include advocacy that these experiences be available for all of us. If you'd like to get involved in this advocacy, check out tpl.org to see the work my colleagues are doing across the country and talk to your local Parks and Rec Department staff. They're the local experts. Now, I'd love to continue our walk through the park, but my time is almost up. I'd like us all to visualize again, so feel free to close your eyes. Okay. Picture it. You're back at your favorite park. You hear the cheers of children as they race across the playground, avoiding the wood chips that have suddenly transformed into lava. You feel the warmth of the sun on your face, and a light breeze blows through your hair as you look to the baseball diamonds, where an adult league is practicing for their next game. Further up the trail, a local gardener is working with the seniors from a neighboring nursing home to plant produce. With help from the gardener, the seniors will maintain and harvest the garden space to share with their community. All throughout the park, people are coming together, learning, growing, playing, and exploring. Open your eyes. Do you feel it? The joy, the hope, the wonder, the excitement. That is the magic of parks. Thank you.